Now we need to move on to M1, and M1 says we need to compare the impact that different cloud technologies would have on an organization. And again, I'm going to leave off this last part here and come back to it at some point. So when we have to compare something, I think the easiest way to compare something is using a table. I love tables in Microsoft Word. It's very easy to get your information across. But before we get to that, define compare with reference. I know this might seem stupid simple, but you know what? I do this because, again, someone who's reading this paper might not understand what a comparison is. It's a weird one to not understand, but someone might not. A single sentence with a reference is perfectly fine again. So when comparing, I would recommend a simple table that shows features or small paragraphs that detail each subset. That's a very wordy thing, but these searches here, if you type these into Google, they'll come up with all the information you want. So let's click on the first three. So let's click on that one, and that one. And when I click on this, it's going to give me some information about these things. Now, you can write yours in paragraphs, but I don't like to use paragraphs. If you prefer to use paragraphs, by all means, go ahead and you can compare using this method. If I go down to this one, this is one I really, really like. I think this is the one I chose, not this specific image, but this kind of comparison, because it gives us all the information in one lovely table. And once we can explain some of these, and then we can use this for our comparison to then decide later on in the analysis, what do we actually need from here to set up our company, and is it going to be beneficial to us? And finally, this is the overarching search I used to find all the information I wanted. So if you simply type into Google SAAS versus PAAS versus IAAS, you're going to get all the information you want. And if you go over to images, that's where I was earlier. You can see all these comparisons here. Choose the one that you like. This first one here worked perfect for me. If you find a different one that makes sense, use it, reference it. Don't copy the image directly unless you are given permission to do so by your teacher. I would remake the table with the information or the stuff that I want. You might not need every single thing on this table here. So remake the table with the information you want, but still reference where you found the main table. So as I said here, look at Google Images and make your own table. It can have more points or it can have less points. Highlight or differentiate the things that you manage. So now that we've done the comparison, so this table here is going to be the comparison. These tables that we find on Google, these are going to be the comparisons. Some of the things on here, for example, the blue one, it says these are the things that we manage. So for the on-premises system that they currently have, they manage every single thing. Might seem like a good idea, but it's going to become cumbersome. It's going to cost them a lot. It's going to take long to set up, long to get stuff in. Whereas IAAS, they manage some things. PAAS, they manage applications and data. And software as a service, they manage nothing. So they simply log into a system like a browser system online, and they can do all the work that they need to do from there, which might be beneficial again. So we don't know what we're going to do yet. So this is the comparison that I would use, and leave it at that. Because the second part of this question says we need to, and how it could meet their needs. We don't want to jump to that just yet because I want to do the analysis first. And it is after we do the analysis that we can decide, now that I've analyzed everything, how can this cloud technology, so IaaS or PaaS or SaaS, how can this meet the needs of the organization I'm looking at? And again, if you guys want references, pause the video, look at these terms, simply type them into Google. So when I click on that one, that's exactly what I typed into Google, and it came up with this information here. You can go there and get as much information as you want, and please obviously reference.